Hi everybody. I'm doing this video for my students in my toe up sock class to demonstrate how to shape the gusset and how to turn the heel. And I've done this little mini sock as a demo, and we are going to pretend that we've reached the length that is 3 inches less than the length of our foot from toe to heel, and we're about to start the increases for the gusset. And I've already knit across this needle. This is the first needle, and I've already knit across. I'm now ready to work on the back needle, which is going to contain my heel stitches. And I placed a marker already in the center. That's basically to remind me that this is the side that I'm always going to be increasing on, and we'll use it later when we actually shape the heel. So when you go to do the increases for the gusset, you're going to pull out your needle like you always do to knit on the next needle, and you'll be knitting the first stitch like so, and then we're going to make one. And the make one, see this little horizontal bar that lives between these two stitches? We're going to lift that bar up onto the left hand needle. And see how it's situated on there? The leg of the stitch is very long on the front. It's not on the back. And the reason for that is that we're going to knit into the back of it to twist it and create an extra stitch but not create a hole. So you want to knit into the back of that stitch like that, and then you're going to knit all the way across to the other end. Slower than I normally would because I'm under a camera and I can't actually, I don't have this right in front of my face. Okay, we're going to pass that stitch marker over for right now. And I'm going to knit to the last stitch. We're going to find that horizontal bar right there. Lift it up onto the left hand needle so that that long leg is in front, and we're going to knit into the back of the stitch. Okay, so you've just increased 2 stitches on the heel, and you're now going to turn your needles, rearrange the needles and the cable, and you're going to knit around, not doing any increases on the back. Then you're going to do another round where you'll be increasing. So you're alternating an increase round and a plain round until you reach the number of stitches that are required to be on this one needle. Now normally that is 2 stitches less than the total number for your sock. So in our sock class we had 44 stitches, which means that on this back needle where you're doing your increases for your gusset, you want to reach a total of 42 stitches. And I'm going to come back and show you what to do once you've reached that point. Okay? Okay, so I've finished all my increases on my heel right there, the gusset. And now I'm going to begin shaping the heel. I'm going to have to start by knitting across that instep needle right here that hasn't changed, the same number of stitches. And this will be a little slow going because I have to get across there. by knitting in the frame of the video. Okay, so we're going to turn it. And now we're going to start shaping the heel. We're going to knit to 2 stitches, past the marker, okay, so we're going to go past our marker, slide it over, 2 stitches, past, and then we're going to knit 2 together, and then knit 1. And now we're going to turn. We're going to be working only on this section back and forth, just like you would do normal flat knitting. We're going to ignore these instep stitches right now. So we're turning it around. We're now on the purl side. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slip the first stitch. And you slip it as if to purl. You're just moving it. And then we're going to purl, just like we did with the knit side, to 2 stitches after the marker. So we're going to slide the marker over. There's 2 stitches past the marker, and then we're going to purl 2 together right there. And purl 1. So we're basically mirroring what we did on the other side, and we're going to continue doing this back and forth. So here we go. We're going to turn to the knit side. We're going to slip as if to purl, and we're going to knit to 1 stitch before the gap, and you're going to see the gap because of those knit 2 togethers and purl 2 togethers. There's that gap that I'm talking about. So we're going to knit over to 1 stitch before the gap. There it is. And this is going to be your knit 2 together. It'll be your purl 2 together on the other side, but what you're doing is you're drawing that gap together by knitting the 2 together. Oops. And then a knit 1 after that. And then we're going to turn it. And now do the same thing on the purl side. We're going to slip that first stitch as if to purl. And then we're going to purl to 1 stitch before the gap. my marker over. There's my gap right there. See it? Big hole. And we're going to purl the stitch before and the stitch after the gap together. And then purl one. And we're going to keep doing this until there are 2 stitches here and 2 stitches here that haven't been worked. Because each time you work this, you kind of scoot over a couple stitches to either side, and that's what causes the heel to start shaping. So we're going to slip one, knit 2, 1 stitch before the gap, there's my gap, knit that together, and then knit 1. I'm going to go on the purl side, do the same thing. And what I'll do is I'll speed this video up so that you can get to that point without watching me knit forever. Okay, here I've come to this one side on the knit side, and there are my 2 stitches that haven't been worked yet. I've done my knit 2 together, knit 1. I'm going to turn and go on the purl side. I'm going to slip my stitch. Okay, there's my last gap that I'm going to get to. Together, or purl 2 together, and purl 1. And there are my other 2. So now I'm going to turn one more time. And you can see my heel shaped right there. I'm going to slip one. I'm going to knit across. Again, 1 stitch before the gap. There's 2 little guys right there. and do knit 2 together, knit 1, and now we're not going to turn and go to the purl side. We're actually going to start working in the round again, but we haven't used up all the stitches on this needle. We want to get back to the original number of stitches that you had on the on this one needle, same as the number on the instep. So we're going to turn this way. We're going to start knitting in the round again. And we're going to knit the instep stitches just normally like we would, just knit across. Turn to the heel side. And if you noticed on the previous row on the heel, we only decreased at the end of it. So we have one extra stitch on this side as opposed to this side. So we're going to take it away here. We're going to knit 1. We're going to knit 2 together. And now we're going to knit to the end of the needle. And at this point we can just take the marker away because it's just getting in the way. See if I can get it out. Or you get it cut. Okay, we will take that out in a minute. Okay, so still not done yet. We still have an extra stitch on either end that we have to get rid of. And you can see your heel. There's your heel. So we're going to go one more time around. And we're going to hide my little marker. I'm going to get it out later, because it's caught on one of the little hairs. Here's your heel. And to get this back to the original number that matches the instep, we're just going to do knit 1, knit 2 together. Oops. Get in the frame. knit to the end, the last 3 stitches. There's my last 3. I'm going to do knit 2 together. And knit 1. Alright, so now your heel side should have the same number of stitches as your instep. And you're now ready to do the leg of your sock. You can do a 2x2 rib all the way up. You can do a plain stockinette stitch, and then when you get to the top, you could do 1 inch to 1.5 inches of ribbing. And then I'm going to do another video on how to cast off in a stretchy bind off.